Hello and welcome to episode 5 of our Timberborn Update 6 Wonders of Water playthrough here with the Iron Teeth faction in Cycle 9, Day 3. Want to let you guys know this episode, as well as the first 5 of this series, have been sponsored by Mechanistry, who developed Timberborn. So thanks very much, Mechanistry, for sponsoring this video and supporting the channel. If you want to check out more about the game, there's links in the description and the pinned comment that'll take you to Steam, and we'll let the devs know that I'm the one who sent you there, so if you feel so inclined, please do check that out. Let's go ahead and move on into today's video, which is going to be getting as much well-being crammed into this place as we possibly can in the next hour-ish. Right now, we're right around 12. It's been hovering around 11, 12 for the last little bit. And I think this might be a stupid thing to think, but I think we could get to 30 by the end of today. You might think that's impossible, and you might be kind of right, but we're going to do our best. I think it can be done. I've never in my entire time playing Timberborn for the past 3 years gotten well-being 30 in the first 5 hours of play, because I'm always focused on trying to do some crazy huge industrial thing or building a giant dam or something like that. But I think we're going to do it. So that's going to require a lot more science, and it's going to require a lot more food production, and it's going to require a lot more me actually focusing on the correct stuff. It's supposed to be a challenge, so that's what we're going to be working on. Last time we did a bunch of good stuff, including finally planting mangrove trees, although these are going to take a full 20 days to bear fruit, but that's okay. We have time to wait. We also planted corn, and we have this food factory that is currently making corn rations for us. And there's a whole lot of ands here. We started getting this channel ready for complete realignment, which the blasting is done, but there's a little bit more building that still has to get finished. And then, of course, we have to expand our industrial area here. And a bunch of little stuff that is technically good, but maybe not implemented in the correct way. I don't know. We got some stuff to figure out. So we're just going to solve problems piecemeal for a little bit, and then we're really going to kick this into high gear. So a couple of you guys noticed in the comments that I have not automated the deep water pumps, which is a function of the simple floodgate triggers mod. So what we can do is just, whenever a drought starts or a bad tide starts, we can just pause the pumps automatically and then unpause as soon as the temperate starts. So we just need to make sure that we have all of these set exactly the same way. Nope, unpause when temperate starts. And there we go. Those are all 4 correct. Gonna unpause these because our water levels are getting a little low. And if we're going to have successful, happy beavers, then they're going to have water to drink. And while we're not out, the trend is definitely going that way. So that is a good thing for us to take care of. Looking at the food situation here, we got 1,200, but the more important thing if we're trying to maximize well-being is to have a good variety of food, which right now, you know, for early game, it's pretty good, but it could be better. Specifically, we need to start growing eggplant, because that's going to take a little bit of time, and we need to unlock these hydroponic gardens and start growing mushrooms and algae, because both of those are going to take quite a while. The algae's 288 hours. But the good thing is these aren't powered buildings. They can be placed literally anywhere. They just are going to suck up some water to start and then take a whole long time to grow and tie up some beaver labor. And of course we have coffee and everything. But I think the biggest gains as far as well-being can be made with monuments. Now, of course, the title of this update, Update 6 Wonders of Water, is referring to this last monument, the Earth Repopulator, which is the Iron Teeth Wonder. We obviously are not going to be able to build this in 5 hours of gameplay. That's completely insane to even, like, imagine that. But, well, you know what? No, somebody's probably done it, so I guess I can eat that at some point if I figure that out. But this thing's cool because it launches, well, beavers, or bots, I guess, whoever's working in the thing. It launches them off into the far reaches of whatever lies beyond the world border in an effort to repopulate the Earth, as the name would imply. Again, we're not going to get to this anytime soon. But it's still pretty cool. We have these other things we can build if we have the science to unlock them. The Laborer Monument, Flame of Unity, and a Tribute to Ingenuity, which requires power. Obviously, we're not going to be able to get to all of these today, but we can do at least a little bit. Keep in mind, when I said well-being of 30, the maximum, I'm pretty sure, in vanilla without adding items is like 70-ish. And then, of course, once you get the Earth Root Popularity, it gives you another plus 10, so I think that takes it to 80. I don't know, I should know, because we've already done this in the live stream series and experimental that I did over the summer. But that was a long time ago. I made, like, I don't know, 100 videos since then, so I don't remember. We're gonna have to figure that out. I guess somebody probably knows in the comments. But there's a lot of other opportunities here. And you guys have been asking for those, so I'm gonna listen for once, and we're gonna do as much as we can. Mangrove fruits are gonna help, fermented mushrooms are gonna help, coffee is gonna help, but all this stuff takes time, and some of it, if we hadn't already started it, we're not gonna get there by the end of the episode. So we're gonna have to be deliberate on how we manage things. But you know what? We haven't even built a simple campfire, really? No, we have. I know I built one. They just haven't used it. And part of that is because they're working 18-hour days, and they just simply do not have time. So that's something we could eventually work on taking care of. But again, we have a limited quantity of beavers, and we have a limited quantity of time. So it's really more of a question of how do you want to prioritize things. So I have currently 2 incapacitated beavers and 3 vacancies. We have all these other jobs that are currently trying to do something. I can't undo the forester workplace because we have to plant the rest of these mangrove trees. But there's a few other like little hidden things. Like there is a set of lumberjack flags somebody left a comment about, and I don't remember where they are, but we can click on these. We got one here, we got one here, one here, one here. So actually, these 2 right here, I mean, technically they're in range of this, but there's not enough trees actually growing right now for us to justify having these populated, so we'll close those 2 down. And now, this lumberjack flag, and then this one up here will be able to handle all of our tree-related needs for the time being. Of course, we have our tapper shack, which is getting pine resin, so we can make treated planks. Treated planks, of course, being used to build irrigation barriers, which are being used to keep the bad water from infecting our farmland here. And yes, somebody left a comment saying, hey, let's put in irrigation barriers under the waterfall so that this can't, you know, corrupt anything else. And we are going to get there. Eventually, it's just going to be one of those things of, okay, well, it's going to take time to build this because everything takes time. And it's a matter of prioritization, which I would not personally consider that to be a huge priority right now, just because there's so much other stuff we're trying to do. But yes, eventually we will have to get there. The other question we're going to be asking ourselves is, what are we going to do about all this wood that we aren't currently making? Like, this is a decent early game tree farm setup, but we're going to need a whole lot more. And fortunately for us, we do have access to these pine trees here relatively easily. Some of these are even in range of our current guys, so I'm going to go ahead and mark those. And then, of course, we have all these oaks up here. Just real quick mark those. And then probably going to go ahead and just put in a set of ladders here. And then we're going to have to, for the sake of everything that's going on over here, probably put in... Oh, I'm not going to be able to fit all of this in one thing. That's unfortunate. Ooh, but we're close. We're close. That one will go there. Remember, we only have 49 beavers currently. The number's going to grow because we did put in another breeding pod, but again, everything takes time. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. We're at 13 now, which is a nice improvement. Spooky Chicken over here is planting some spooky mangrove trees. Wow, we have almost 1,000 canola seeds. That's actually good. We're going to need those, especially as we keep building additional food factories. Probably also... I mean, we're in the territory of water coming through here, still increasing a little bit. And these numbers on our water wheels might... Okay, well, they just had a massive jump. Just had a massive jump, and this was substantially lower, but it fluctuates, right? Because this is unstable. So it's going to be to our benefit to continue building water wheels here, and then eventually getting gravity batteries. Again, by the end of this episode, unless I decide to just chop like 5 cycles into one thing so I can have that fit in an hour, which I don't really like to do. Not going to happen in this one thing, but we're going to do our best. That is going to mean, depending on how we want to do this, we might end up cycling this one food factory between different things. Because we have such a small complement of beavers, we don't need to produce mass quantities of food. We just need to make sure we are producing food. And of course, we haven't grown any eggplants to process. We haven't grown any algae to process. So it's one of those things that, again, we're just going to have to wait for. But these hydroponic gardens take such a long time to grow stuff that we really, really need to get those going as soon as reasonably possible. So I'm going to bring them over here because this is non-arable land. Just like that. One for mushrooms, one for algae. Realistically, you're going to need more than one of these to take care of all of your needs, but you have to staff them. And you can't unstaff them, or else, well, the stuff starts drying out because they have to have water brought in there. And then it ends up just not being a good time. But they're not that expensive to build in the grand scheme of things. So if you can manage to keep people employed in here, then you're going to be in pretty good shape. Now, we do not have any explosives stored because I demolished the the storage that those were in. So for our purposes of, you know, continuing to grow more trees and crops and stuff over here, we are probably going to be in not the best situation in a little bit of time, since I didn't really take too much good care of that. But I am going to go ahead, for the benefit of the beavers now, I'm going to pause this explosives factory and this bad water pump. We'll get a couple more workers to take care of everything else and just keep on doing what we want to do. But the hydroponic gardens are going to be, like I said before, very important to get done now, because 288 hours is a long time. A very long time. That's like 12 days or something like that. It actually might be exactly 12 days. Which is most of a cycle, most of a temperate cycle. And they're not built yet. So, yeah. I'm going to go ahead, just because I know this is probably going to come back to bite me if I don't. I'm going to go ahead and just build more of these things. Stack them up. We have technology. We can build ladders. In fact, you know what? I'm going to... I'm so tempted to just build a ton of these things. It's so tempting. And I really want to. I really, really want to do it. Would it be better to have 3 doing mushrooms and 1 doing algae? Because this one does 70 algae. We only have 51 beavers, so... I don't know. I feel like I'm going to have to build... See, this is how this happens. I'm going to have to build 6 of these. And have 2 doing algae and 4 doing mushrooms, I think. Would be the best way to do it. Also, the mushrooms can get processed, not for free, but 4 timesing the mushrooms with the help of the fermenter without the canola oil. Food factory, 6 timeses. That's not how the plural works. It's fine. It multiplies the algae by 6, which is tremendous. Well, I would say that's the best in the game, but right above it you have eggplants that take the same multiplication factor thing. But it's only a quarter of an hour for one algae to get turned into 6 algae rations. Anyway, suffice to say, this is going to be what it is. I have planks, so I'm going to go ahead and put this here. I know I'm giving them a huge construction project. But this warehouse is going to be a perfect place to put mushrooms. The warehouse above it is going to be a perfect place to put algae. And we can do all of that with the help of our platforms. And that gives them a nice big construction project to play with. So, triple speed it is. Get through the night here. We do have an unemployed beaver, really. Never mind. We no longer have an unemployed beaver. It's got all these different jobs we're working through. We do have 4 workers in the district center taking care of that. I have not turned these back on yet. But I'm going to have to turn the soybeans, at least one of them, back on because we are starting to run out. But the nice thing about having such a huge capacity for the raw stuff is we can just, you know, keep on pulling it out of the ground. And it's not really going to matter. Just, you know, ferment what we need to ferment when we need to ferment it and at no other time. So soybean storage, cassava storage, canola seeds. Down here I've got storage for corn. Behind here I've got another one that I don't think I can click on, but it's got, there we go, it's got gears in it. So everything we're currently growing, we're doing pretty well with. In fact, I have so much canola, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to unplant, I don't know, maybe this might be a little bit more than a third, but I need to start growing eggplants if we're going to be using them later. Keep in mind, each eggplant plot gives us 3 eggplants, each corn plot gives us 2, each canola plot gives us 3. So the eggplant is a very space-efficient thing to grow. So in theory, we're not going to need a huge amount of space to do it. Wow, they were pretty quick building most of this stuff. They won't have to worry about that quite yet, but I keep misallocating my my demand on my builders here. The curse of prioritization. Anyway, the only reason I'm having them come over here and stop what they're doing is so that I can start planting, because these take 12 days to grow. So as soon as we can get these in, the better. It is a continuously evolving process. Yeah, so we'll just have to keep an eye on that. But once the eggplants are growing, the only food-related thing that we will not have at least started will be coffee. Unfortunately, coffee takes 12 full days to start getting beans, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it's only 1 bean, or I guess the pictures of 2 beans, but it's 1 unit of coffee beans per tile, so it's not very space efficient. I mean, it's not like it's the worst thing ever, but you really start to ask questions about, well, is this the best possible thing I could be doing? Once you start messing with coffee. So let's find ourselves a space. I guess, for lack of a better anything, I'm just gonna, you know, put this here. We'll get ourselves our 6 bushes, start growing the coffee. We can't do anything with it yet, but we can start growing it and making sure that everything is going to be all hunky-dory there. But wait, I can hear you. Well, okay, crying makes it sound like I'm complaining about you, which is not the case. Complaining about, hey, there's no gatherer flag. What are you doing? What are you doing? And you would be correct. There is no gatherer flag. So what we have to do is we have to put one down. Fortunately, we have the option of doing so. I've not spent the science on the triple platform, so I'm just simply not going to worry about it. Instead, I'm going to put this guy right here, which is going to allow him to have access to all these berries, every single berry bush right here, all of these coffee bushes, and of course all these mangroves. This one up here is still okay, but at some point we are probably going to deprioritize this, and by some point I mean right now. Pumping is still going pretty well. Storage for fermented cassava, fermented soybeans, fermented cassava here. We need a corn ration storage. So this one is going to become corn ration storage. That's looking fine. We do have beavers working here. They are growing. Algae, mushroom, badger, etc. Yeah, we're looking pretty good. We do need to be cognizant of our water usage, which is a challenge of doing it this way. But I don't think it's going to be a big deal. I think this is going to be just fine. I am going to go ahead and put a medium tank up on top of here just because I think that is a smart thing to do. And on we go. Now you'll notice that the corn rations have not been put over here yet. I think that's probably because we haven't prioritized any of these by haulers yet, but we're going to get there. We are going to get there. Eggplants are growing. Wow, some of these are actually almost 25% of the way through, which is good stuff. Coffee's growing. It's going to take some time. That's just the way it goes. Mangroves are growing. Almost 2/3 done here and about halfway done there. So, you know, we're actually getting pretty close in terms of being prepared for all of our nutrition stuff to just absolutely skyrocket. But just keep in mind, stuff is going to take some time to get done, and it's not going to be an instant process. We also have to have a fermenter set up for the mushrooms, but we have a little bit of time before mushrooms are even going to be remotely able for us to, you know, do anything with them. Quite a long time. Now you'll notice if I deprioritize this, it's going to kill him. So for those of you who are wondering, well, why can't you just have him start it and then have him leave? Like, well, that's not how it works. They have to be in there tending to them constantly, which is unfortunate, but the food yields from doing this are really great. I mean, time-wise, it's not really that much better, but you get a big boost all at once. Because each of these, again, is 45 mushrooms after 192 hours, but 45 mushrooms that you can then turn into 180 mushrooms when you put them into the fermenter, because, again, it's multiplied by 4. So that's pretty good. So each of these four, well, not each of them, but all of them together, these 4 things are going to make us, like, I don't know, what, 800-something mushrooms? The fermented mushrooms. And the algae, we're going to have 140 coming out of this as soon as that's done. Goes in the food factory. It's going to be just about as much. So, suffice to say, overkill, yes. Going to be useful? Absolutely. Just another thing to keep our eye on as we keep going. Now, the rest of this stuff is going to be mostly held back by our relative lack of science, to which I am sure there are a number of you saying, just build a number cruncher. Well, no, I'm not going to do that. And it comes up every single time we play Iron Teeth. People are just screaming about building number crunchers. Look, it's 1500 science. It's expensive to build, and it takes 500 HP to run. Yeah, it makes a lot of science, and it's great. But we can't afford to run more than one of those. Plus, I can't afford to research it. And if I hold on to save science so I can research it, we're going to miss everything else. It is not an early game science solution. I don't even know what the correct metaphor is for it, but I got to pound that into your brains until you understand it. It is not a viable thing for us to be doing. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying it's trash. I'm just saying right now it is not what we need to be doing. So as long as we can understand that, we're going to be good. I'm going to build another irrigation barrier here. It's not really going to stop this from getting infected too much, but you know, it's fine. We'll make it work. The main goal is to, you know, stop all of our crops from getting killed. That's the main goal. And I think for right now that is mostly successful. I got to turn one of these for cassavas back on. Examine our other workforce stuff here. I mean, again, scrap metal. I'm going to turn this third one off. I did not pause it before. That was an accident. It was supposed to be paused. But then you guys were leaving comments about like, hey, well, you didn't pause all your scavenger flags, but maybe that's going to be a good thing because you're not going to remember in 5 episodes, and that's also correct. That is a very astute observation, but I was going to be content leaving that until I realized, hey, I actually, you know, need more beavers. So, it is what it is. Another dynamite going here. Everything over here is looking... Wow, they've cut down a lot of these trees. So that was a very smart move, putting this up here. And to address another comment, yes, this is going to be a great area for farming once we can fill it with water. Right now, I don't think we have the production to make that really possible, but it is on the roadmap for the future, along with all of this scrap metal up here. And then we have these lovely natural overhangs we can use to get over here very, very easily. We're going to incorporate these later, but there's only so much we can do in 5 episodes. And again, my goal with this was to demonstrate that you can do a lot of stuff in roughly 5 hours of gameplay. In case you're not a crazy person like me who wants to play 45, 50 hours completely unedited and put it online for tens of thousands of people to look at. You can still have fun just playing the game casually. You don't have to be an insane person. Although it is really fun when you are. I'll say that much. So, now I've got an opportunity, because we have a ladder right here, to put in a whole bunch of medium warehouses, just stacked right up against this, and we can store a whole lot of food. And yes, that is going to cut off access over here, but it's going to be a lot less complicated than like trying to reverse engineer some other kind of garbage here. And these large warehouses, with a population of 50 beavers, we just really don't need it. So, I got 4 of these things right here. We already had a storage somewhere for a lot of this stuff, but I'm going to go ahead and put in just storages for stuff we haven't started making yet, so I don't forget. Because that is going to cause problems if I do forget. They're going to be empty for a while, and that's okay. We just have to have something ready for when we're not thinking about it later. And they're like, oh, why do I only have 12 fermented this? Well, because you didn't make a storage for it, you dingus. Anyway. I think we're going to be just fine. Let's check on our eggplants. 67%, very good. Corn storage is up to about 100. So I will be, until I can actually, you know, have enough beavers to work this stuff, I am going to be juggling recipes back and forth. And then, bad tide time. I am going to end up probably pausing these completely after they've grown this first batch, because again, it takes so much time to grow these, and this ties up 6 jobs. But by overproducing all at once, then we don't have to worry about it for, you know, probably the rest of this episode, and maybe the next one, maybe the one after that even. And then we can have these 6 beavers go do something else. Work smarter, not harder. Sometimes you can work dumb and not harder and still have success. That shouldn't really be a direct endorsement of that, but, well, you know how this goes. Farming-wise, everything, you know, everything's looking pretty good. I can't help but think I need to have fewer beavers working as farmers just because of how slow stuff goes. But for right now, I will go ahead and pause the forester just so we can have one more beaver doing something else. Gears are full. I will pause this gear workshop. Planks are full. I will pause this plank lumber mill workshop, not what it's actually called. We probably pretty soon are going to have to unpause the oil press, so I might as well just go ahead and do it now so I don't forget. The treated planks we're only really using right now to make these irrigation barriers, and we're not really, you know, in a spot where we need to be building any more of those. I think, I'm cautiously optimistic, but I think I'm not going to need any more here. It might kill a couple of things on the edge, but this little wall right here should take care of that. So that being said, I'm going to pause the wood workshop. I have Actually, I don't have any storage at all for the pine resin, but that's also going to mean I can pause the tapper shack. And now we still have 7 vacancies and 2 incapacitated, but you're going to notice that when they go to work tomorrow, there's going to be a couple of them working in these inventors. Like here, and, oh, I want to pause sounds. I don't want sounds constantly, please. Please, someone make a mod that turns off building sounds. I don't think I can pay you, but I'll be forever thankful to you if you do that. Still no eggplants yet, really? 88%. Well, that's fine. How's our mangroves looking? 41% of the way. Each mangrove tree gives us 4 fruits. We do have a storage right here for those, so that is good. I just, the science is the killer thing here. I'm going to have to figure something out here. 85%, I'm not currently building anything. So I'm going to take this down to 2 workers, and then, yeah, here we go. Science time. Give me some science, because there's so much cool stuff we can do with well-being and decorations without spending just buku bucks on stuff. Like the scratcher. Numerous people requested we make a couple of those. And it's such an easy thing to just put, well, pretty much anywhere. So you put one of those right there. You can probably put another one right here and be totally fine. Bad tides started. No worries whatsoever because we have insurance. And you know what? Well, it's probably not, you know, concentrated enough to cause the little tendrils here, but so far nothing has died. We got 3.5 days. Are we going to see any bit of this at all? I don't know. But guess what? These are also paused, which means everybody's doing research. Yes. We're going to get so much stuff done, folks. Other things like showers. Very cheap, easy thing for us to build. Those of you who have that fixation on showers, I'm sure will be absolutely delighted that we have constructed those, so you're welcome. I just have to find a good place to put some without taking anything away from what's going on here. Alright, so here's what we're going to do. Gather flag, go away, double shower, come here, double platform for another double shower, go here, and there we go. You got 2 double showers, and I don't know, I guess you weirdos that like to peep on them can just get up here on the exercise plaza. Please don't be weird in real life. Please don't be weird in real life. Eggplants. We have eggplants. That means it's time for eggplant rations, which means canola oil, which we do have being produced. That can get going there. I am going to prioritize this building by haulers. Oh, good. Good. The hydroponic gardens, this one has finished. So that's done. This one, I'm going to pause even though it's at 3% and 3% because I need these beavers to do other stuff. 5768. Okay. Now you might be asking, well, why did you bring so many beavers out of their jobs? Well, we can add a couple more back to haulers. We can turn on the rest of our food production. And now I can build other stuff that takes manpower or beaver power or whatever unit you choose to use, including but not limited to possibly some other stuff. Coffee brewery, anybody? It's 500 science, which we don't quite have yet, and it's 25 treated planks, which we do have, but we don't have coffee beans. Actually, oh, we have 6. Never mind. We have 6 coffee beans, and our well-being is already up to 15. Yeah, okay. Well, before I get too far ahead of myself, yeah, I'm going to build another large water wheel here so we can generate a little bit more power. And then, yeah, let's go ahead. Go ahead and build a little bit more of this. Put in another medium warehouse. That one was holding the corn. This one can hold the eggplants. And then, of course, it's going to have some other stuff on top of it there. But we have a ladder here. we're going to have another one of these guys sitting here, which is going to give us the opportunity to get a lot more stuff produced. We don't have to have them all staffed at the same time, but having multiple buildings that can also serve as a little bit of storage and buffer space is never going to be a bad choice. Now, this path right here, actually this one right here, I'm going to turn into a ladder since we have access to that. That's going to work out quite nicely, very conveniently. We already said that was for the, come on. Come on. Eggplants. I already have storage up here for mushrooms and algae. Those are both going to require... Oh, hello. The mangroves have dried out. Now, how did that happen? That should not have been a thing. This should never have emptied. Huh. Alright, well, Now I'm a little concerned. Now I'm quite concerned, actually. Well, this isn't generating any power. This is potential farm space. Alright, we're going to do something radical here. We're going to get rid of these fermenters. We're going to get rid of these power wheels. And instead, because, you know, this isn't really holding in any much water anyway. Ah, okay. Okay, I see. ICs are pretty good. I see what's going on here. I need to put an irrigation barrier around this entire mess, but I'm not going to build more than one. Not yet, because I need those 25 planks to make a coffee thing. But this one right here, I think, is going to do us a whole lot of good. So we'll build that. I am surprised it only affected that much. But all that to say, I'm going to take that dam out right now just so we can re-water these mangroves. It is going to maybe put a little bit of water out here. In fact, it's... yeah, by the time this is done, it's probably going to, but we can go ahead and plant additional mangroves here. It's not really that many more, but in the grand scheme of things, this is going to be a better move. It's cycle 10 anyway. But how did this happen? That's so weird. Anyway, Forester restaffed once again. I'm sorry, I gotta pause. I absolutely have to pause or I'm gonna just completely screw this up. Restructure this just a touch. Not like it really truly matters, but it's going to be nicer looking anyway. We can actually blast this down, grow more mangrove trees because, remember, each one of these gives us 4 fruits, but they're not going to last that long. Not going to last that long. Depending on how we want to do this, we might actually want to put in a water dump to ensure that this is always full and only activate it during a drought or a bad tide. But I'm going to have to figure out exactly where that's going to need to go. Yeah, this is all stuff that probably is beyond the scope of episode 5 of a series, but again, we're trying our very best to do as much as we possibly can. Remember? And that's going to require a little bit of out-of-the-box thinking and chaos. So hydroponic garden here. I mean, I have extra beavers. Technically, I guess I could justify leaving one of these mushroom ones still on. But point being, we need to replace those fermenters, which this is a great place to do that, and we have space right here that is going to be perfect. Nice and easily accessible. In fact, since this doesn't really need to exist anymore, depending on how we want to run everything else here, I could do one here, one here, one here if I just moved this out of the way. Not really any specific rhyme or reason to arranging these, but I think that looks a little bit better when it's lined like that. So, cassava, soybean, mushroom to start. We're going to need to have a cut through across here. Well, we have one right here, which I guess is fine. But I'm going to want to put another one in, and that's going to get me in trouble. as it tends to do. All right, so that one's finished. Good. They don't have any reason to go behind there anymore. I think this map isn't really big enough to worry that much at this exact moment about making sure that the stuff is located in a super efficient space, because like what, it's 50 by 100. It's not that big. The that one map we did, the 256 by 256, I think that was series 15 with the Iron Teeth. Yeah, that was bonkers. We had all sorts of problems getting stuff around there. But you'll notice that everything is looking pretty good food-wise with everything that we've managed to do so far, with the exception of mushrooms, because I know we have mushrooms. And we're going to have algae soon as well. Which, this guy hasn't been built yet. But it's not that far away. We just have to get the rest of this stuff taken care of. And then we're going to be in, hopefully, a little bit of a better position. And you know what? I forgot to do this again. So we're going to have a little bit of a flood fun time here. But it's not the end of the world. Did get a suggestion to put in a sluice here that would automatically open whenever the water behind is not contaminated. And eventually we're probably going to do that, but that's not a episode 5 solution, in my opinion. So for right now, this is going to remain open. We'll see if that helps eliminate some of the surging that we're seeing here. And it certainly is going to keep these things watered. They haven't planted these trees. Well, I guess it's still busy doing this stuff. And that's fine. This still has not been built. That's fine. There's so much stuff ahead of it. Was this one down here ever built? Yes, okay. We're still looking okay on everything else. I really should be planting more trees elsewhere, but you know how it goes. I really want to get these mushrooms up and running here. Guess they're just, they're busy doing other stuff because this was all queued first. Okay, 91%, 2%. All right, pause that immediately. It's fine if it dies at 2%. I need the beaver, he says, while having 8 unemployed beavers. All right. So now's the time for me to actually, you know, get smart about this. And I don't mean the comedy from the 60s. Let's do... Yeah, let's just... Because I can... Just pop a couple of these in various places. 2 more there. This is all non-arable land anyway, so... That's fine. I'll just put 3 of these here. It's going to take them some time to actually, you know, come in here. Oh, I made the ugly. All right, well. Objectively, that might not be better, but I don't have to look at the stupid, so that's fine. Okay, Sean Smith. Oh, you're planting mangroves. Never mind. I don't have to mess with that then. Okay, the process of getting this built. It is really cool how we have these partial construction frames now. I think that looks really nice. Just waiting on them to build the rest of this stuff so we can, you know, actually have this start making anything. So now we have algae. Alright, algae rations, go. Well, as soon as the stuff is built. Alright. Now I realize our well-being is not 30 yet, but we're getting closer. We're getting closer. And I have science now. So I can use 1,000 science on a labor monument. I'm not going to have the 3,000 for the Flame of Unity. But I think this is going to be the most bang for our buck, so to speak. Putting this guy in. So I'm going to go ahead and get that labor monument. For lack of a better place for it to go, I'm going to do that here. And then I'm actually going to build another barracks right here. And we're going to retire this one. We're going to get rid of this barracks, or at the very least, pause it, so we can concentrate all of our beavers in one area and have them, well, benefit from everything being in one spot. Alright, how are we doing here? We got algae rations? Yeah, we got... Wow, 61. That was quick. So hopefully... Yeah, here we go. Building fermenters. Hopefully that doesn't take too long. I get those going. The pumps did unpause, right? Yes, good. It's up to 18. It's up to 19. Hey, I told you. I told you we were going to get something accomplished here. Don't doubt. Okay, sometimes, yes, please doubt me. Sometimes. But not always. Not always. Let's turn this smelter back on. I do need to get some more metal so I can continue to construct things. Like the coffee brewery. Now that I've got 15 coffee beans that are going to have to go somewhere. This, of course, requires power, which is going to require having something built somewhere that is going to be producing power. And you might be thinking, why would you put it up here where all the nasty is? Well, oh, this is an opportunity for me to make ugly again, isn't it? Yes, it absolutely is. Let's maybe not do that. But I will put the coffee brewery here. Well, you got this thing that makes explosives, and you got coffee, which, you know, kind of also makes explosives. But we're going to move on from that and put ourselves a little tank here for coffee. Just so they have somewhere for that to go. And how are we looking on... Oh, they haven't even built any of these inventor huts yet. Well, it just goes to show you that I'm not always great at doing this. But hey, we still have a little bit of time. The dream's not dead. It's only become substantially more difficult because of bad prioritization choices I made. But the fermenter's making fermented cassavas. It's making mushrooms now. Slowly, but it is making them. And we got soybeans as well. We still have a little bit of corn in stock. We've got some eggplant. I think we're waiting on more eggplant to be grown, which is fine. Turn this back to corn in the meantime. And we've got coffee continuing to get brought in. I'm assuming... Ah, okay, yeah, that wasn't actually connected to anything. Just make sure these are preemptively deprioritized workplaces. Not like it's really that big of a deal. But we are looking pretty good. We've got the mushrooms coming in. Food-wise, yeah, the only thing we're missing is coffee. And then getting this all the way maxed out to the right is just a matter of time. Campfires, terraces, that's a working hours thing. Aesthetics is going to be our biggest opportunity to boost this really, really quick. We have all these other buildings we haven't, well, built yet. The monument's going to have a big boost. Scratcher we've already built, swimming pool, exercise plaza. Mudbath, wind tunnel, motivatorium, those are not early game items that are going to be really possible to unlock. But the aesthetic stuff, you better believe we can start doing some of that. Let's get this shrub unlocked. 20 science. These are great things to just put on top of platforms at intersections, areas where beavers are going to be very commonly coming in and out of. Just a really, really easy, quick boost that most of them are going to be able to get into. So that's going to make sense. Hey, we're up to 20. We're getting there. We're getting there. Lanterns are also a good thing to put next to or above paths. But I'm going to try to do these other things first. We've got braziers here. Oh, that's got a 5x5. You know what that means? You know what that means? That guy can go right here. This isn't aesthetically minded at all. It looks ugly. You are correct. But it's efficient. And that's what the Iron Teeth are going to appreciate a little bit more than something looking perfect. Now, it doesn't mean we have to make something just despicably, unspeakably horrific, but that is going to inform my my prioritization just a little bit. Just a little bit. And this one hasn't even been built yet. The barracks, okay. Well, then we're coming up pretty close. We have 58 beavers. Things are, you know, actually not looking too bad. Not looking too bad. As soon as this coffee brewery is actually finished, then all of our food will be taken care of. Gears are looking good, actually. This deep bad water pump does not need to be operating. I can shut that right off. What else? What else are we missing here? Eggplants. I'm still waiting for those to come out of the ground. Food stores, that's the good thing about having a smaller population. Your food stores can really get built up really, really quick. Everything else, I think the beavers are just kind of running around trying to do whatever they can, like chickens with their heads cut off, and expect it to work. Oh, that's what... okay, they're building the monument. Alright, well, that was always allowed. That's fine. It's just going to take a little bit of time. I say as I stop on this in the middle of the night and then wonder, hey, why isn't this getting finished yet? Well, they'll finish it in the morning, and then they can build all these little shrubs everywhere. The roofing pieces we've already technically covered by having this one right here. Beaver busts and statues. Clocks, also another good one. Hey, right up to 21. That's nice. Should be not too long before we get the coffee thing in here. 5 more logs. 5 more logs. 3 more logs. 1 more log. Where's that last log? There it is. Alright, say it with me, kids.
Wow.
Wow. And that is going to be, I think, a +3. So that's cool. Looks like we just got a fresh shipment of eggplants in, so let's switch this back over. Look at that, we have 257 corn rations. I like where this is going. All the mushrooms are looking pretty good. We still have plenty here. Algae rations actually just about full. Okay, well, that's an interesting problem to have. Up to 22, up to 23. Mangrove fruits are lagging behind, but that was always going to be a thing because it takes 10 days to grow another batch. Everything, you know, is looking pretty good. And we have another 1,000 science already? Well, you know what? Depending on how fast this goes, I wonder if we could also do the Flame of Unity before we're all said and done here. Again, like I said, these well-being things, well, you know, except the detailer, but that requires extract. You know what? Is it worth... let's see, 600 science for the centrifuge, and then another 1,000 for the detailer. I think it's only going to get us like a net, like 2 well-being, so probably not. Probably at this point better served just focusing on these aesthetic things. So, let's see here. Within 2 tiles, I'm going to put a beaver bust here that'll catch everybody. Is it ugly? No, it's actually, it's quite majestic. Is that really the best place to put it? No, but it's the Iron Teeth. It's not the Folktales. They're not going to cry about it. Now, we could... oh, here you go. Oh, this is like that meme. It's like, oh man, I don't even remember exactly... there's probably a bunch of them that are in this format, but it's like somebody behind somebody else with a hammer going to bonk them on the head or something. Anyway, I think objectively this is really funny. So, so we're going to do this. We got the beaver statue going to bonk the beaver bust on the head. That's so stupid, man. I love it to death. Just like that beaver. Anyway, moving on. What else? What else can I possibly get myself into here? I mean, I think if we can get the science up before the end of... let's say before the end of Cycle 10. That'll make it nice and clean. We do have either a bad tide or a drought coming up. If we can get that up enough to research and build the Flame of Unity, then I think we're going to be in a really, really good spot. All right. This barracks is hereby paused. Oh, look at that. Immediately up to 24. Oh, this is so exciting. This is so exciting. Are we going to get there? Are we going to get there? We still have some time. Still have some time. Food-wise, we're looking really good. Wet fur is going to be something granted by, I think, the shower? Yeah. Shower in the swimming pool. Oh, the beaver bust halfway is literally just half of the bust. That's actually really funny. I mean, I don't know what else I would have expected, but that's good. Everything else, campfire, we can easily build a campfire over here. That is not a problem to construct. Very, very simple to do that. Rooftop terrace, we already have one here. That's fine. I can do just quick and dirty. I can do another one right here. And then since this is like a non-essential intersection, there's a farm there. It's fine. It's fine. We'll just do that there. Get that taken care of. The decontamination pod we thankfully have not needed. Decoration we're still working on, but this should, once these are both, yep, up to 25, up to, oh, we're going to do it. We're going to do it, 27. Boy, I should have made a higher goal than 30. That's actually looking like it's a little too easy. But still, it's something I've never done before, and that was one of my major goals doing this, was to say, hey, I want to do something I've never done, to challenge myself to get this in the 5 episodes prescribed here. So it looks like we're not too far away from making it happen, folks. All right, so let's take a look at the rest of our food thing here. It looks like the mangrove fruits are going to kind of be our Achilles heel in terms of food supply, but when you only have so many and they take that long to grow, that's just going to be how it is. You have to have a whole lot of trees for that to really be a super viable thing. And these are just now growing into maturity here, so another 10 days we probably don't have to get all of these in here. But I think, okay, we do still have some coming in the next little bit, but they're already gone again, just immediately. All right, up to 28, up to 28. And the beaver statue's not finished yet. Bad tide approaching, huh? Okay. Well, this one's done. It's not going to completely save all of these, but it's going to get pretty close. Going to get pretty close. In terms of, you know, keeping everything irrigated, I don't think we need to worry about it. Got maxed out water. What else am I actually building here? Is it worth going ahead and just saying, you know what, we're gonna try to speed run this thing, and we're gonna put in, yeah, you know what, I think it's worth doing. Put that up there and start filling this fluid dump, because we can farm up here, although it's not going to be like a right now thing to solve. Eggplants still coming in. Everything else is looking pretty good. We're going to finish this ladder, or no, they're probably working on something. Oh, they're still working on the, still working on the beaver statue. I really hope nobody gets stuck behind this. It's 29. It's 29. Well, it went immediately back down to 28, but if this comes up and shows 30, then I will consider that to be a success. And anything past that's just gravy. Realistically, as soon as this is finished, it's going to go to 30 or 31, but we're going to find out. We're going to see what happens. All right, that's 28. We don't have a lot of metal blocks, but it seems to be not an issue. Now that, yeah, that's going to give us our 30th one here. All right. Who's going to pop that in for us? There you go. Beaver statue. Give me that increase. It's down to 27 now, probably because beavers are at work. But this is actually funny. Just bonk. And we've got these shrubs that are really square-shaped, and I'm actually kind of surprised. They've taken a couple different shapes throughout the development process, but the only other thing we could really put in would be, like, I don't know, like the bell, but that's 500 science for that. There's the 30, folks. There's the 31. All right, we're just blasting past this thing. So, I won, I guess. My arbitrary goal that I just came up with an hour and 6 seconds ago, according to the OBS recording timer. But hey, we're going to keep going through the bad tide because full 10 cycles. But it just goes to show you don't have to take a whole long time playing the game to actually achieve a pretty reasonable measure of success. Most of my playthroughs, by the time we're in, I don't know, like 2/3 or 3/4 of the way through the game, haven't even gotten to 30 well-being because I just never focus on it. So I'm going to chalk that up as an absolute success here. These trees have all been cut down, so this lumberjack flag can go away. And we can connect this, which is going to allow us to fill this with water. Our other foodstuff's looking really, really good. Really good. I'm running out of raw algae, but I've got a lot of rations here, so... Okay, this is almost done growing another 70, so maybe that's actually going to be fine. That one's still growing mushrooms, which we still have plenty of. But now it's bad tide time, which means these pumps get paused, the poison flows, and our beavers go off to do other things as different buildings get paused. Well, in our case, now we just have 4 unemployed beavers, which is, I guess, a net positive for what we're working on, because now I have extra bodies to throw at stuff. So, I mean, like I said, we're not stopping just because I got to 30. We're going to keep going. I just want to make sure that I can actually, you know, store stuff down here. So I've got corn, eggplant, and I am going to have one more algae storage underneath this because, well, we're going to have a third one here, and they're all going to produce the same thing at the same... Well, not the same thing at the same time, but you get the idea. You get the idea. That's just how we do. Put this in here. And then, do I have the resources to build another one of these? Survey says yes. Yeah, then of course I'm going to have to just continue putting these medium warehouses down below. Because that's a good thing to build on top of. I know we can put some other ones over here too, but it's nice to have access to all that stuff. But before we get too comfortable, let's put in this guy right here, which is going to work out splendidly because that little shaft isn't going to line up with the back of the building. But it's not going to matter because we're going to go ahead and put in this little thing like this. Nice little, I don't know, visual interrupter type thing. And then on top of that, put a food factory. But I will have that paused. I just wanted to get it placed down. Alright, so that one's going to be corn, that one's going to be eggplant, this one's going to be set to algae. So we can always have something going. And I do want to get in the habit of putting these ladders underneath the doorways for these buildings. Just because it's a good way to make sure they can always get where they're going. This one is in this specific place specifically because of the terrain and for no other reason. But power-wise, we're looking pretty good. Granted, we're in a bad tide. But the goal that I would have, without having gravity batteries or engines or anything, would be for these wheels to be able to power all of this in a bad tide. Or at least most of it. We're at about a little less than 80%. This does not have a storage currently. We're, I guess, going to have to work on that. But I do have storage for all these things here. This is going to need to end up being... I mean, I'm not going to obviously store prepared food all the way over here because they're not going to eat it there. But, wait a second. Okay, no, that just doesn't have a progress bar on the right because there's nothing in there. Alright, well, that's fine. We already have tons of canola. 32, okay. Well, you know what? We might as well go ahead and put another mushroom storage over here. I guess that's fine. Not going to be, putting anything in there just quite yet. Yeah, I was kind of skeptical that one each fermenters would be able to keep up, but then, I also forgot we only have 55 beavers. So, I guess that's working out okay. Yeah, the rest of this were really just kind of gated behind everything else, but, you think I forgot? Do you really think I would forget? I don't forget until I do, and then it's funny because bad things happen. But yeah, We have a Flame of Unity to build, friends. And I'm not exactly sure where to put it. But I think it's not the best place for it. But this could actually end up being funny. We move that. And then, you know, you got beavers walking around at, like, waist height. You got this flame coming out next to them. Well, you know what we could do? We could call it the Flame of Knowledge. Guess you got inventors right here. It's like, yeah, get your whiskers seared off on your way to work at the knowledge factory. But yes, the Flame of Unity. We almost have enough metal blocks. We got 1.6 days, 300 planks. Will they do it? Can they do it? Find out next time in Dragon Ball Z. Anyway, we're gonna just let this go because I think it's really funny that we managed to just absolutely crush the well-being goal that I thought might be kind of impossible for us to get to. It feels nice to be wrong sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes. So we'll let them do what they gotta do. So this would be a good time to do our end of episode debrief, so to speak. I really, really appreciate you guys watching this series. Have had a lot of great comments, great responses, great ideas. People keeping me in check when I make dumb mistakes. I love that. Let's keep that going. I really want to continue this series. I know the original deal was, hey, we're doing a 5-episode series to see how far we can get, but I think we can turn this into something really cool. So what I need from you guys is let me know in the comments, do you want to just continue just blasting straight through this with episodes for like another couple days and then start doing other things? Or do you want to take a day or two off and start the Water Beaver series back up? Because I've also had a lot of people asking for that. But whatever the majority preference is, I'll probably also poll it on the channel. But since you're already here watching the video, let me know your thoughts on that. Other ideas, challenges for the rest of this series. We may have ended the official challenge play series whatever thing with this episode, but I think it's helpful to have goals. So anything that you have in that regard would be nice to know. Of course, Beard Boosters, your support is absolutely essential to keeping the channel the way it is. Where the only sponsorships I will ever even consider are people who make really good games and want to help out the channel and make videos possible that way. Which, by the way, in case you somehow forgot, Mechanistry did sponsor these first 5 episodes of this series. I really appreciate it, Mechanistry. Thank you so much for supporting the channel and for sponsoring these videos. But now we're in Cycle 11, Day 1. They have not finished the Flame of Unity, but our well-being is at, well, the maximum was at 32. And you know what? Wow, look at this. It's already super green up here. And that is fantastic. This is going to be a great place to do more farming, or we could plant trees up here even and have more of this for farming. I'll leave that up to you guys to decide. If you want to see this be farming for crops or farming for trees, drop your comments down below and we'll go with whatever seems to be the most popular thing. But hey, 5 episodes, 10 cycles. We did a whole lot on a pretty small, all things considered, map. Obviously not everything we started building at the beginning of this episode or in the middle of this episode ended up getting finished by the time we're quote-unquote all done. But I think we could be really happy with this. It's definitely the most I've done in an early series checkpoint like this. So that's great. That's exciting. I've been very happy with this. Again, we'll do what you guys want moving forward with this. Just let me know. And of course, we have plenty of other stuff. We will be doing another series on hard mode, probably when this one's finished, or maybe a little bit sooner if I can finish the Water Beaver series within the next couple of weeks or so. This game is endless. You're never going to run out of stuff to do. Like, quite literally, there is never a shortage of opportunity to think about things, to be creative, challenge yourself, or just do something really stupid because you want to. It's a great game. I genuinely, truthfully believe that. Not a talking point. Genuinely, I love this game. And I'm so glad we get to play it together. I hope you'll give it a shot. Check out the link in the description or the pinned comment to go pick it up on Steam. Even though they sponsored me to make this video, I'd tell you to buy it anyway. I've done it before. You know that's how it is. Please pick it up. I promise you're going to love it. If you're not, you can yell at me, but you're going to love the game. It's fantastic. We've had such a great time. It's made a huge positive impact in my life, and you guys have too. So I'm eternally thankful and grateful to you for watching the videos, Mechanistry for sponsoring this series, and for everybody who keeps coming back. I'll look forward to seeing you then. Whatever it is you're doing with the rest of your day, stay safe, have fun, and we'll see you later. Take care, friends. Bye-bye.